Sometimes the biggest relationship we sacrifice isn't with another person, it's with ourselves. So, this video is about recognizing when compromise becomes self abandonment and why healthy love shouldn't require to become someone else. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, maybe I should have just stayed quiet, maybe I was asking for too much, maybe if I wasn't so emotional, maybe if I were easier to deal with, things would have gone different. These thoughts are surprisingly common, not because everyone is in a bad relationship, but because many of us grow up receiving subtle messages about what makes us lovable. Be agreeable, don't be difficult, don't be too emotional, don't expect too much. And after hearing those messages enough times, you will probably start believing that every conflict means you need to become smaller, not louder, not more honest, just smaller. One day I came across a question that completely changed how I thought about relationships. Instead of asking, why am I hard to love? What if we asked, am I changing who I am just to avoid losing someone? Those are two completely different questions. One assumes that you're the problem, whereas the other one asks whether you're slowly disappearing. And that's the journey I want you to take you on today. The difficult part is most people don't wake up one morning and decide to lose themselves, right? It happens gradually that we won't even notice. Maybe you stop mentioning something that's very important to you because it always turns into an argument. Maybe you apologize first, even when you're not sure you've done anything wrong. Maybe you stopped wearing something you love because someone didn't like it, somebody made a comment. Each compromise feels so tiny, almost invisible, and that's why it's dangerous. Because when a habit grows slowly, you rarely notice while it's happening because they're healthy. Sometimes we stay in familiar patterns not because they're healthy, but because they are actually familiar. And our brains naturally prefer what's familiar over what's uncertain. Well, there's actually a psychological concept called self silencing. It describes a tendency some people develop where they regularly hide their own thoughts, needs, or feelings to avoid conflict or maintain closeness in a relationship. That doesn't mean compromise is bad. We might think healthy relationships require compromise, but it's actually not compromise they require, it's accommodation, accommodating to each other's needs and understanding instead of suppressing your own and compromising. Over time, constantly suppressing your own needs can affect self esteem and emotional well being of your own. So, not because having needs is wrong, but because you all train that they don't matter. That distinction is really important. Here's something I wish more people realize growing up: you shouldn't have to constantly earn the right to be yourself. Healthy relationships and auditions where you're always wondering if you've performed well enough. They're places where honesty becomes safer, not scarier, where saying I don't agree, that hurts me, doesn't automatically threaten the relationship. Being respectful doesn't require pretending. Being kind doesn't require disappearing. And realizing that is often the first step towards healthier relationships. This is where things become confusing because kindness is a beautiful quality, patience is a beautiful quality, understanding people is a beautiful quality. The problem starts when those qualities move only in one direction. When you're always the one understanding, always adjusting, forgiving, making space. Relationships are healthiest when both people can express themselves honestly. If only one person's feelings consistently make room while the other one quietly disappears, it's worth asking why, not to blame anyone, but to better understand the dynamic. And sometimes the healthiest thing you could do isn't doing or becoming less, it's becoming more honest.